Thank you for watching. Subscribe on Deceived Husbands for more stories.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Turn that off, screeched Mandy, adjusting her makeup in the bathroom. What the hell is wrong with you, damn it? I work 12 hours a day, for days a week. This is the only day I have off, and he'll damn well watch whatever I want. Derek yelled back from his recliner in the living room. Well, I don't want to hear that crap again. You watch that stupid show every week. Hell, it isn't even in color, Mandy responded as she walked into the living room, giving Derek an eyeful. She had gone all out, wearing a tiny skirt she bought online and a short top that bared her midriff. It was obvious she wore no bra, but she did manage to pull on a thong. Her high heels topped the ensemble. Wow, you look hot. Where are we going tonight? Derek asked, hopeful. We aren't going anywhere, jerk. I'm going on a girls' night out. I don't know when I'll be back, so don't wait up for me, she said. Derek knew better, but didn't let on. What the hell is up with you? Derek asked. I don't get to see you hardly at all during the week, and the one day I'm home, you decide to go on a girls' night out? I was kind of hoping to spend some time with you. I deserve a day off too, you know? You think it's easy staying here and keeping this place clean while you work? Yeah, I work a bit too. Maybe not 12 hours a day like you, but it's not easy for me, you know? Besides, you've been sick, remember? She said. Yeah, I know. It must really take a lot of effort to paint those toenails like that, Derek said. That's right. Mandy huffed. So I'm going to be out with the girls, and I'll get home when I damn well please, she said, grabbing her purse and heading for the door. Just remember one thing, Mandy, Derek said before she walked out. If I ever find out you're cheating on me, you won't have a home to come back to. Whatever, she said, slamming the door on her way out. Derek locked the door, set the deadbolt, put the chain on the door, and secured the door bolt he had just installed. She'd have a hell of a time getting back in, assuming she came back at all, he thought. He did the same to the back door and made sure all the windows were secured. He grabbed another soda and popped himself back into his recliner to finish watching a marathon of his favorite show. Screw that lying, cheating, conniving, he said to himself. He looked at his watch. 2 hours to go, and he'd finally be rid of the disease for good, at least that's what he was told. He looked at the ring on his right index finger with the big blue stone and hoped the good doctor was right. It wasn't always like this. Derek Jacobs met Mandy while attending college 8 years ago. He had just finished his hitch in the Army and decided to use his veterans benefits while he could. He was a mechanic in the Army and found that he could pretty much figure out and fix almost anything mechanical, so he decided to get a degree in engineering. He met Mandy while standing in line at the student union. They were both there to get books they needed for their classes and began talking to each other. After realizing they both had the same tastes in music and movies, they dated, fell in love, and got married after they graduated 2 years later. The first few years were great for them both. There wasn't a day that went by without some form of affectionate, close moments. He got a job as a civil engineer at ABC Manufacturing right out of college. In reality, it was little more than a glorified mechanic's position, but he was happy to be working at all with the economy. Besides, the pay was decent and the company had good benefits. Between his degree and his mechanical skills, Derek became indispensable as far as the plant management was concerned. If it was broke, Derek was the guy to fix it, and he always came through. Mandy wasn't able to get much with her degree and ended up working part-time for a local accounting firm. It didn't pay much, but she had some benefits and hoped to get enough experience to move up the ladder a bit. They did well, but things started changing in their home a while back. They had discussed having children after 5 or 6 years, but Mandy suddenly changed her mind. She also became a bit moody and more demanding as time went on. Derek, thinking happy wife, happy life, gave in her demands more often than not. After a while, Mandy began micromanaging everything Derek did, telling him how to mow the yard, what television programs to watch, even telling him how to hold the tools he had used since he was a teenager. Their intimate moments became less frequent. What had been an everyday thing became maybe once or twice a week, then a few times a month. Mandy started going out with the girls on Friday nights. At first, Derek didn't mind since he sometimes went bowling or would go hunting with the guys. Initially, she would leave right after work and get home about 8 or 9 that night, and would always be in a good mood. As time went on, however, Mandy came home later and later. Sometimes she wouldn't show back up until the next day. Naturally, that angered Derek, and the two would spend the weekend fighting. He also noticed that she began dressing in more revealing clothing on those nights. Her skirts were always fashionably short, but not overly revealing. Now, she either wore skirts that showed off most of her legs or shorts that could almost pass for denim thongs. If that wasn't bad enough, Derek sometimes thought he detected the presence of something suspicious on her thighs or on her face. Mandy would immediately go into the shower on those nights and refuse to let him touch her. Things changed at the factory as well. The economy wasn't doing too well, and a number of maintenance people were laid off. Derek, being the local master of all trades, was told he would have to work 12 hours a day for days a week just to keep the plant running. He suggested hiring temporary help, but was shot down by the plant manager, a burly cigar-chomping creep who sported a flat top and generally treated the employees like crap. Mandy didn't seem to care that Derek was gone so much, and he was somewhat relieved to be away from her. The overtime was good, even though taxes took quite a chunk of his earnings. Nevertheless, he was still able to set aside a good portion just in case. By now, Mandy had taken to dissing him publicly to their friends, telling them that he was just a mechanic at a two-bit factory while openly flirting with every man she saw. Her treatment of him just got worse. He started believing that she was cheating on him and thought about how he might be able to catch her in the act. Unfortunately, private investigators cost too much, and so did the spy gear he thought would do the job. One day, he overheard a couple of plant employees talking about someone who sounded just like his wife. He was in a stall using the toilet when they came in. "Did you see the legs on that going up to see Thompson?" One man asked. "Yeah, damn. You think she's Thompson's new?" The other guy asked. "Oh yeah," the first guy said. "Hell, she comes to see him about 3 or 4 times a week. Comes in at about 3 and stays till 5 or 6. Rumor has it she's married to a plant employee. Always comes back out looking like she's been rode hard and put away wet, know what I mean?" Derek decided to keep an eye out to see who this woman was and made sure to be positioned so he could see anyone going up to Thompson's office. It only took a day for the effort to pay off. Sure enough, he saw Mandy walking up the stairs to his office as though she owned the place. She wore one of her most revealing pairs of shorts and looked down at the floor before she walked in, almost as if to see if she could spot him. Derek watched as 2 of the plant supervisors entered the office. Thompson pulled the shades on the door and put up a sign that read "Meeting in progress, do not disturb." 3 hours later, he saw her leave the office, her hair disheveled and her makeup smeared. One of the plant supervisors followed her out, tucking his shirt into his pants. The reality of her cheating hit Derek square in the gut, and he vowed to get vengeance. Derek, fed up with her cheating and abuse, seriously considered divorcing her. He even spoke to a couple of family law attorneys who informed him that in this state, he was basically screwed. He might get to keep his home since he inherited it from his parents long before they married, but even that wasn't guaranteed. In the final analysis, he would lose about 25 of his income, half of his retirement, and most of his possessions to her, leaving him to subsist on basics while paying for her to live it up. And because he had no definitive proof of her cheating, he had nothing to use against her. He kept an eye out for her and spotted her going to see Thompson at the plant several more times. He took pictures with his smartphone, but knew they were meaningless. He decided to confront her about her cheating, but that backfired as well. "What were you doing at Thompson's office this afternoon?" Derek asked when he got home. "What business is it of yours?" she asked, visibly perturbed. "Are you spying on me now? I couldn't help but see you going into his office, and you certainly weren't dressed for business. And if you were screwing Thompson, it damn well is my business. I won't be married to a cheating tramp," Derek told her. "I had to deliver some papers to him," she said. "I didn't see any papers, and you sure didn't look like you were dressed for work," Derek retorted. "I sometimes have to deliver papers to the plant on my way home from work. You're making too much out of it. I love you, and I would never cheat on you," she said. "Well, if you really love me, do you think you could treat me a bit better and quit dissing me in public?" Derek asked. Mandy sighed. "I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was doing that," she said. Derek put his arms around her. "Want to go upstairs and relax together?" he asked. She shook her head and broke free of his grasp. "Not tonight. I'm a bit tired," she said. Yeah, spending time with other men could tire you out, Derek thought. He hoped that maybe she would quit coming to the plant since he confronted her, but no. A couple of days later, she was back, wearing an even more revealing pair of shorts and a t-shirt. This time, Derek was at the bottom of the stairs when she came around. "Delivering more papers today, Mandy?" he asked. She fumbled, trying to collect herself. "I have to get some paperwork from Mr. Thompson," she said. "Well, why don't I go up with you since you're here? And then we can go get a bite to eat," Derek suggested. Mandy backed off. No, that won't be necessary. Look, I'm really busy. He'll come back later," she said before leaving. Derek turned around and looked at a very upset Ron Thompson. "What's the matter, boss?" he asked. "Did I interrupt your afternoon gathering?" "Get back to work, Jacobs," he growled before going back into his office. Derek smiled. That night, he stopped at the Rusty Nail, a small bar he liked to visit sometimes for a beer or two. "Everything okay, Derek?" Ryan, the bartender, asked. "Just lovely," Derek said. "Woman trouble, huh?" Ryan asked as he wiped down the bar. "Yeah, you could say that. Woman trouble, wife screwing boss, and everyone else trouble, name it," Derek replied. Ryan nodded his head in understanding. He opened a drawer under his till and handed Derek a card. "Give this lady a call," he told Derek. Derek looked at the plain white card. "Dr. Sylvia," it read. "Cheating spouses can run, but they can't escape," the card said. Under the name, there was a phone number but no address listed. "Who's this?" Derek asked. Ryan put down his towel and leaned close to Derek. "Remember when I was having trouble with Andrea?" he asked. Derek suddenly remembered and nodded his head. "I forgot you were married. Wasn't she cheating on you?" he asked. "Yes, she was. Well, this lady took care of it for me," Ryan said. "What do you mean took care of it? She didn't kill your wife, did she?" Derek asked. "Oh no, nothing like that. Let's just say the cheating won't be cheating on me or anyone else ever again. She even helped me deal with the pain of it all. Still does from time to time. And she's very reasonable," Ryan said, twisting a ring with a blue stone on his right index finger. "Give her a call. Call her now if you want." "Right now?" Derek asked. "Sure, why not? Here, use my phone," he added, pulling out his cell phone. Derek had left his phone in his truck since he didn't want to take any calls from Mandy. He dialed the number, and a woman answered on the first ring. "Dr. Sylvia," the woman said. "Yes, this is—" Derek began. "Derek Jacobs," she said, finishing his sentence. "I've been expecting your call. Come to my office tomorrow morning at 10 sharp. Don't be late." Derek was shocked at her direct approach. "Where's your office at?" he asked. "The address is on the card," she said. Derek looked, and sure enough, the address was there, right below the number. How did that happen? He asked himself. It wasn't there just a couple of minutes ago. "Tell your boss, Mr. Thompson, you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and you have to be there. Understand?" she asked. Yeah. Are you really a doctor?" "Of course. I have a PhD in multiple disciplines, and I also have the cure for what currently ails you. Be there at 10 a.m. sharp and bring your phone and your laptop." She ended the call, leaving Derek shocked. "How did she know who I was?" Derek asked. "Did you talk to her? Maybe arrange this?" Ryan shook his head. "No, I haven't spoken to her since she helped me with Andrea. Trust me, she's your best shot at dealing with Mandy." Derek thanked Ryan, took the card, and headed home. Mandy was her usual self and lit into him as soon as he walked in the door. "Where the hell were you?" she demanded. "Why didn't you answer my calls?" Derek ignored her and went to their bedroom. He wondered if she had brought her lovers here to fool around in their bed, their marital bed. The thought sickened him. He changed out of his clothes and went back downstairs. "And what was that at the plant?" she demanded. "Good question. What were you doing there? Please don't tell me you had to pick up papers for your accounting firm. We have an entire department dedicated to accounting. And since when does your company require you to dress like you're competing in a wet t-shirt contest? I may have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. How I dress, or if I dress, is none of your business. So tell me, where were you tonight?" she asked. "If you must know, dear, I had a beer at the Rusty Nail. Now I'm going to bed because I'm not feeling too well. Working 12 hours a day, for days a week to support an ungrateful like you does that." He went to bed thinking about the strange call with Dr. Sylvia. What the hell kind of a name is that? He wondered. And how did she seem to know so much about him? That night, he got far less than his usual 5 hours of sleep and practically had to drag himself out of bed the next day. "You look like hell," Mandy said. "I'm not surprised. I think I'll go see a doctor today. He picked up his phone and called the plant to tell them he would be gone as he had an appointment with the doctor. I didn't know how long it would last. Mr. Thompson won't be happy, said the bubbly female voice on the other end. Derek knew he was speaking with Angela, a fairly new hire in HR. Yeah, well, if he starts any trouble, remind him I have over 100 hours of sick time, Derek said. Angela laughed. You got it, big guy, she said. Doctor? Mandy asked. You didn't tell me last night you had an appointment. What's wrong? Yeah, well, I didn't think you'd give a damn anyway the way you've been treating me lately. I just have something that's been making me feel sick all the time. Thought maybe I could get an antibiotic or something. Derek didn't like lying, but at this point, he really didn't care. Mandy played the role of a caring wife, making Derek even more ill. Is there anything I can do, baby? She asked. Yeah, Derek thought. Quit fooling around and start treating me right. Fat chance of that happening, though. Nah, it doesn't help that I'm working my butt off 12 hours a day to keep a roof over our heads, and it sure as hell doesn't help to see you traipsing up to Thompson's office dressed like a teenager on spring break. I'm sorry, Derek. I have things to do as well. I do have a job, she said, but it doesn't take 3 hours to hand him some papers, does it? Papers I never see you carrying. Come on, Mandy, I'm not stupid. Guys are talking. I hear them all the time. What's going on? He asked. It's not what you think, she said. Then tell me what it is, he said. She looked at the floor. I can't say anything, she said quietly. Well, understand this. I absolutely will not tolerate a cheating wife. You got that? That means if I ever find out you've been fooling around with Thompson or anyone else, you're out. Out. Got it? There will be no mercy, no forgiveness. We're done. And the guy screwing you will go down as well. Understand? Derek, please, she began. Shut it. I got to go. My appointment is at 10, and I can't be late. He grabbed his coffee and headed out the door. I love you, Derek, Mandy said as he opened the door. He stopped and looked back at her. Yeah, right. Whatever, he said before leaving. What was that all about? She wondered. Does he know? What will he do? Mandy began to get nervous and called Thompson. Hey, sweet cheeks. I hear the wimpy cuck has a little boo-boo and is going to see the doctor today. We on for this afternoon as usual? Got 5 of my supervisors who can't wait to see you. 5 guys, Mandy thought. 6 counting Thompson. Wow. The thought made her feel a thrill. Yeah, okay. Listen, Ron, I think we may have to cool things down a bit. I think Derek knows what's going on, and he gave me an ultimatum this morning. She said, don't worry about the little wimp. He's too stupid to know. What's he going to do? Run to mommy? Stick out his lower lip? Just have that bum of yours in my office at 3 like normal, he said. Okay, Mandy said quietly. He'll be there. Good, and no panties this time. Meanwhile, Derek was making his way to see Dr. Sylvia. He found the building listed on the card. It looked like it hadn't been occupied for some time, and weeds were making their way up the old brick walls. He drove around back and saw a parking lot with weeds growing up through the cracks in the old pavement. He pulled in and went inside with a bag holding his laptop and tablet, carefully working his way up the creaky old staircase, almost expecting to be mugged at any moment. He found the door to her suite, simply marked Sylvia, and went inside. His first reaction was disbelief. A rather attractive young-looking woman with long, wavy blonde hair sat behind a computer hooked up to 3 monitors. The room was filled with old books and files and reminded him of something out of an old Gothic horror film. She looked up and motioned him inside. Derek, right on time. Good. I appreciate punctuality. Please come in and have a seat. Derek went inside, closed the door, and sat down. Coffee? Dale, she asked. Coffee is fine. Thank you, he said. She poured a cup and handed it to him. Black, just the way you like it, she said, smiling. How in the hell did she know that? He wondered. He began. Please call me Dr. Sylvia. I've been called lots of things over the years, Nemesis, Tyre, just to mention a couple, so Dr. Sylvia will work just fine. Who the hell names their kid Nemesis or Tyre? Derek asked himself. He kept his thoughts to himself, as he knew she was there to help him. Okay, Doctor. Sylvia, I just want to say thanks for seeing me on such short notice, he said. My pleasure, Derek. It's my job to help those who seek my assistance. You have a problem with your wife, Mandy, right? And you believe she's cheating on you, right? Yeah. How do you know all that? He asked. It's my job to know, Derek, she said, holding a folder. Look around you. See, I have files covering every marriage on earth, like this poor guy who thinks his wife is visiting her sister in Boston. Right now, she's in the middle of getting busy at a gangbang in New York. The computer dinged quietly. Oops, the stupid cow just got pregnant. She's going to have a hard time explaining that. Her husband got a vasectomy 3 years ago. There's a divorce waiting to happen. So, if you know this, why don't you do something and just stop it? Derek asked. Because, Derek, I have a very strict non-intervention policy. I don't get involved unless I'm asked, she said. But maybe they don't have your number, Derek said. I can be reached other ways. I see you're not a very religious person. No, I haven't been to church since I was a kid. Too many hypocrites for my taste. She nodded her head. I can understand that. There are times, however, when a simple, honest, and heartfelt prayer for help gets across. You'd be amazed. In your case, it was a telephone call. So, how can you help me? Derek asked. Are you a lawyer, a private investigator, a psychologist, what? And I certainly can't afford much. I've already priced out lawyers and investigators. I am qualified to do all of those jobs, Derek. Simply put, I am justice for the wronged, and no one in my crosshairs escapes. No one. As for cost, you need not worry. Why? Derek asked. Simply put, I already have everything I need, and if I don't have it, I simply get it. No questions asked. So my services to you will cost nothing in terms of money. You will never see a bill from me, ever. As long as I'm needed on your case, I will be available anytime, day or night. All I ask is that when the time comes, you pay it forward the way Ryan did yesterday, she said. So, how can you keep operating? Derek asked. Let's just say I have very deep pockets and leave it at that, okay? Besides, getting justice for those who are wronged is the ultimate satisfaction in my line of work. Look, Derek, you do what you want, but understand that the courts aren't going to work in your favor, and you could lose the house you inherited from your parents as well as nearly everything you've worked so hard to earn. You don't want that. So, do we have a deal? Derek was amazed at what she had just said, but he knew she was right, and he couldn't continue to live the way he had been. He extended his hand. You got a deal, Dr. Sylvia, he said, shaking her hand. They spent the next several hours reviewing Derek's marriage to Mandy, or rather Derek listened as Dr. Sylvia told him about his life with Mandy. He learned from her that Mandy had been fooling around on him for the last 2 years, but the worst part began when Ron put him on 12-hour days. That, she told him, was a setup between Mandy and Thompson to make her more available to him and his buddies. Girls' night out, he learned, was just a cover-up for her more illicit activities, which often included multiple men at the same time. And he learned she quit her job with the accounting firm so she could spend more time with her lovers. 6 months ago, she told him, Mandy got pregnant as a result of a gangbang with Thompson and 3 of his plant supervisors. She got an abortion, but the operation messed her up to the point that she could never have any children. Derek remembered a period when Mandy seemed to be extremely sick, but refused to let him help her. He broke down crying, unable to take the pain of Mandy's betrayal. He loved her dearly, worked hard for her, took care of her, and this is how she repaid him. Dr. Sylvia stopped talking for a bit, walked around, and gently took Derek in her arms to comfort him. The second she touched him, Derek stopped crying and felt a strange peace come over him. He couldn't explain it. Dr. Sylvia kissed him lightly on the cheek and wiped a tear working its way down. It's going to be okay, Derek. I know this is hard, but we have to get through it. When we're done, I promise you'll feel much better. He looked at her and nodded his head. Who was this woman who could take away that kind of pain with a simple touch? She sat back down and continued reviewing their marriage. So, Mandy meets with Mr. Thompson and several of his supervisors at least 3 times a week. They all know she's your wife, by the way, and yes, they're having a good laugh at your expense. And they're planning to meet today at the usual time. Oh, and Thompson has instructed her to not wear panties for their afternoon meeting. What? Derek said. How? Remember, it's my job, she said, smiling. Derek swore he would make the pigs pay. All of them, especially Thompson. So, at this point, we need to go about collecting evidence, since I'm sure you want some measure of revenge against the men using your wife. Right? She asked. You have everything in your files. Isn't that enough? It's enough for me, and my information is absolutely infallible. Unfortunately, it won't stand up in your court of law. Give me your laptop, your smartphone, and your tablet. I'm going to install something so you can keep a real close tab on Mandy. Derek watched as she quickly installed the software on his phone, tablet, and laptop. Soon, she had the laptop open to the desktop. She pointed to an icon and had Derek open it. It asked for a password, which Dr. Sylvia gave him. When the application opened, a large window in the middle showed what looked like a bird's-eye view of Mandy in their bedroom. The audio and video quality was simply stunning. Mandy had apparently done laundry and was putting her clothes away. Dr. Sylvia showed Derek how to move the camera around so he could get video from any angle he wanted. He could even zoom in as close as he wanted. She also showed him how to save the video files for later use. The program even had a notification box that would light up when something important happened. Derek was amazed. "Where are the cameras?" he asked. "Surely she has to know she's being watched." Dr. Sylvia put a finger to her lips. She said, winking. "Trade secret. And no, she has absolutely no idea she's being monitored. You'll be able to watch and hear everything she says and does, no matter where she is." She showed him a smaller window below the main screen. She clicked a button on the window, and it began filling with a jumble of words. "What's this?" Derek asked. "Something the feds would love to have. It's a special app that keeps track of her thoughts. Right now, it's synchronizing itself to her brain patterns. Once it's done, you'll be able to keep track of everything she's thinking. All her plans and desires will be laid bare for you. Watch," she said, pointing to the window. Sure enough, the word jumble began to form into coherent sentences. "Oh my God, I'm going to get with 6 men today. I'd love to see the look on Derek's face, that little bastard. I wish to God I never met him. He's so goddamn self-righteous. Why couldn't he be like Ron? Oh, I'll only have to put up with it for a little longer. Once Ron sets him up, he'll be well and truly screwed. And after he's gone, he'll get his house and all of that insurance money, and he'll be set for life." "Oh my God," Derek exclaimed. "They're planning to kill me." Dr. Sylvia clicked the save button. "Yes, it certainly appears that way," she said. "What do I do? I can't take this to the police. They'd never believe me," Derek said. He was on the verge of tears. Dr. Sylvia hugged him, and he instantly felt better. "Watch the video and the thought feed today. Stay away from her as much as you can tonight. You're off work tomorrow, so come see me at the same time in the morning and we'll discuss disposition. Okay?" Derek nodded his head. What did she mean by disposition? He wondered. And how in the hell did she do that with the surveillance and the brain scan thing? Who the hell is this woman? He had questions but set them aside. She was, after all, firmly in his corner, and whatever she did made him feel much better. "And remember," she said as he began to leave, "no matter what, I'll be here as long as you need me, anytime, day or night. Got it?" she asked. "Got it, Dr. Sylvia, and thanks for everything," he said. She smiled. "My pleasure," she said. Derek went home, and seeing that Mandy was already gone, fired up his laptop to find out what she was up to. By now, it was just a little before 3, and he knew she would be heading to the plant to see Thompson. Sure enough, he saw her heading up the stairs to see Thompson. The men in the plant got a good look up her very short skirt as she went up the stairs. Damn her, he thought. Damn them all to hell. She paused for a second to undo several of the buttons on her blouse before walking in. Thompson was sitting at his desk with a cigar and stopped what he was doing long enough to look her over. "Damn, you look good enough to eat. You're a bit early, but that's all right. The others will be here soon enough. Why don't you get comfortable on that couch over there?" Mandy walked to the couch and stripped off all her clothes. "Better than Colonel Sanders and finger-licking good. I'll bet," she said. Thompson smiled. "So, when are you going to take care of Derek for me?" she asked. "Probably next Thursday. We have a piece of equipment on the north side that constantly goes down, and the only way to fix it is to crawl inside. If it's not done right, though, the whole thing could fire back up and turn him into hamburger within a few seconds. It's easy to overlook one of the many safety cutoffs. It's already been set up so he gets shredded into mincemeat. You get a new piece of gear, and I get the house and his insurance," she said. He nodded. "Yeah, that and of course my cut of your insurance money. The owners of this place will also want to settle with you just to keep it all out of court. But you could still play the grieving widow and walk away with a few million. Minus my cut, of course," he said. Derek knew the piece of equipment he was talking about. It was a dangerous machine and should have been replaced a decade ago, but upper management refused to do so, claiming it cost too much. Well, now they would have other things to deal with, like conspiracy to commit murder. Derek saved that piece of video and continued watching. Maybe next Wednesday, we can invite your husband into our little meeting for one last big send-off. I can tie him up and he can watch you with other men. What do you think? Thompson asked. Mandy smiled wickedly. Oh, wow. That would be so hot, she said. Derek wanted to punch his laptop. 5 other plant supervisors showed up, and Thompson put the meeting in progress, do not disturb sign in place. Of course, Derek knew who all of the other men were, and he made sure to get good shots of their faces. They were all married and were constantly bragging about the women they had scored. Soon, Derek thought they would all be divorced. Well, Thompson, you were right. Derek's wife sure is a good-looking piece of meat. Can't wait to slip her some of this, one of them said. They all laughed, and Mandy stood up to give them all a good look at her. Over the next 3 hours, Derek watched as his soon-to-be ex-wife did things with each of them several times. Some of them used protection, which made Derek even angrier. Oh God, this is so much fun. Read the thoughts in the box below the video. Mandy was loving this. After Derek is gone, he'll be doing this all day in his house, and every day. That'll be my life from now on. Screw that piece of crap. Suddenly, a notification box lit up on the display. Derek moved his mouse over the notification. STD alert gonorrhea, the pop-up said. Derek thought, the stupid woman went and got a damned STD. Of course, Mandy didn't know this, and neither did the men with her. Naturally, they continued with her for another 2 hours without protection, meaning that by now, all 6 of the men were quite likely infected with the disease. Derek grabbed his phone and called Dr. Sylvia. She answered on the first ring. She just got infected with gonorrhea. And did you see what Thompson and Mandy plan to do to me? Yes, I know. I saw that too. Don't touch her, Knight. Whatever you do, they'll take care of the others. What do I do? Should I send the video to the police? Derek asked. At the very least, this is conspiracy to commit murder. What you do is relax and trust me. No one escapes my justice. I'll see you tomorrow, Derek, she said. With that, Derek hung up. He noticed that Mandy had left Thompson's office and was heading to her car. He watched the thought scanner to see what was on her mind. I can't wait to be with Derek after being with all those men. He's going to be dead next Thursday anyway. At this point, Derek felt more hatred toward her than he had ever felt in his entire life for anyone. He closed down his laptop, nuked a pot pie, and turned on the TV. Soon, he heard her car pull into the driveway. She entered the house and walked right past him, reeking of perfume mixed with something else. He said nothing. Right now, he felt as though he could happily put a bullet between her eyes. I'm home, she said. Derek stared at the TV. Mandy bent over and looked him in the face. I said, I'm home, she said even louder. Derek said nothing but moved his head so he could watch the TV. Ah, screw this, she said before storming off. A couple of hours later, she yelled out, Are you coming to bed? Not if you're in it, Derek said. She stormed down the stairs. Damn it, Derek, what's wrong with you? She asked, perturbed. Look in the mirror. By the way, you never even asked how my appointment went, but then again, I'm not surprised since you really don't give a damn about me. I'm sorry, baby, that's not true. What did the doctor say? I have to go back first thing in the morning for a follow-up to determine how to get rid of what's making me sick, Derek said. What's making you sick? Did the doctor say? She asked. A couple of things, Derek said, looking right at her. Naturally, she didn't get the hint. But in all seriousness, I'm not sleeping with you tonight. I'll sleep in the den. Maybe for starters, you smell like something foul, and I don't want to risk possibly spreading anything. Okay, she said quietly before going back to the bedroom. Derek waited until he heard the door close, then pulled out his phone and fired up the monitoring app Dr. Sylvia installed earlier. He was curious to see what she was thinking. Oh my God, does he know? What will he do? What will Ron do? I don't know if I could do this anymore. My husband hates me. I know it, but I hate him too. After all, that's why I approached Ron about getting rid of him. I thought that working all those hours would wear him down or give him a heart attack, but it didn't. Maybe Derek knows more than he's letting on, but his eyes, they were so full of hate for me. That's not the Derek I know. What have I done? Derek smiled, knowing that what little conscience the woman had left was starting to eat at her. Tired, he went into the den, laid down on the futon, and got some sleep. The next morning, Derek got up, showered, dressed, and grabbed some coffee before walking out the door. He said nothing to Mandy and offered no display of affection whatsoever. "Can I go with you to the doctor?" she asked. Derek shook his head. "No, I don't know when it'll be finished, and I'm sure you have other things to do." "Oh, Derek, you know I do love you really," she said. "You have a funny way of showing it," he said. "Do you still love me?" she asked. Derek considered his answer. "Honestly, Mandy, I don't know. A part of me does and probably always will, but truthfully, a part of me hates your guts with a red-hot passion right now. I think you know why. I always loved the girl I married. Right now, though, she's gone, and I don't know what you did to her," he said. "I've got to go. I'll be back when I'm back." "Okay, they'll see you when you get back," Mandy said quietly. Derek left, confused by the last exchange with Mandy. Was she having doubts? Would she finally come to her senses? He doubted it, and even if she did, there was no way he could ever trust her again. He got to Dr. Sylvia's office and went inside. "Right on time again," she said, smiling. "Have a seat while I get your coffee." Derek accepted her coffee and watched as she glided back to her chair. He would love to get to know this woman better, he thought. She wasted no time getting to the point of the meeting. They talked for some time about Mandy and the plot against him. "Well, I take it last night opened your eyes," she said. "Yeah, I never knew just how bad things were with Mandy. There's no question, divorce is the only answer," he said. Dr. Sylvia looked at him carefully and drew a piece of chalk out of her desk drawer. "You're limiting yourself, Derek. Surely there's something much better." "Let me explain," she said. She got up and walked around the desk, standing in front of Derek. She drew a circle on her desk with the chalk and filled it in. "We're going to play pretend here." "Okay?" she asked. "Okay," Derek said. "Let's pretend this is a button, a very special button. What if I told you that by pressing this button, Mandy could disappear, transported anywhere you wanted? Do you think you could press it?" she asked. Derek looked at the circle before looking up at her. "Anywhere?" he asked. "Absolutely, and it doesn't even have to be a real place." "Would you do it? But wouldn't her absence go unnoticed? Wouldn't people start looking for her?" Derek asked. Dr. Sylvia smiled. "Not if she never existed here." "Oh, sure. You'd remember her. Maybe others very close might have a distant memory of her, but there would be no record, no trace, no pictures, nothing to prove that she was ever here. Now, could you do it?" she asked. Derek considered her words as he looked at the circle. Could he really do it? All he would have to do is press the button and poof, no more Mandy. No more taunts, no more cheating, no more lies, no more conspiracies to murder him. He reached out and put a thumb on the circle. "Hell yes," he said. Dr. Sylvia hugged him and planted a soft kiss on his cheek. "Good man," she said. She went back to her desk and pulled out a ring with a curious blue stone setting. It looked just like the one he saw on Ryan's finger. She handed it to him. "Place that on your right index finger. The chalk I drew on the desk was just a circle. This is the real thing," she said. Derek looked at the ring, then back up at her. "But where will I send her?" he asked. "I have an idea you might find interesting," she said. "What's that?" he asked. "Well, isn't tonight the weekly Twilight Zone marathon?" she asked. "Yes, it is, and it's something I always look forward to. Mandy hates it, which adds to my pleasure." "That's one of your favorite programs, isn't it?" Dr. Sylvia asked. "It always has been," he told her. "Don't tell anyone, but it's one of mine as well. Rod Serling tells some wonderful tales, and I just love the brilliant sense of irony and justice in many of those old programs. In fact, I believe that one of your personal favorites will be playing tonight at 9. "Which one is that?" he asked. "Spoilers. You'll know it when you see it. Do you trust me?" "Sure," Derek said. "Good. It'll set the ring to activate at 9:15. Then you'll have 15 minutes to press the blue stone. Understand that once it's done, it can't ever be undone, and the ring loses all its power at 9:30. "Okay, let's do it," Derek said. Dr. Sylvia smiled broadly. "Wonderful. Consider it done. Keep your laptop application running, and you'll know instantly if you're successful." "What about the other men?" Derek asked. "They'll be taken care of tonight as well. Don't worry. Check your local 8 news. I think you'll find it interesting," she said. They talked a bit more about life, love, and justice before Derek got very quiet. "Dr. Sylvia, will I ever see you again?" Derek asked. "You know you can always reach me if you ever need me," she said. "I'm sorry, it's just that, well, I like talking to you. I felt better, more alive, and more well-loved than I have in such a long time," he said. "You're falling for me, aren't you, Derek?" she asked. "It's okay, and perfectly normal under the circumstances. Maybe a little. It's been so long since I felt so comfortable with a pretty woman." She came around the desk, sat in his lap, and put her arms around him. "Derek, you're a good man. A decent, honest, hardworking, and loving man. I know many women who would love to be with you, and I'm certain one of them will, before you even know it. Under other circumstances, I'd be honored to call you mine. But know this, Derek, he'll always be with you everywhere you go," she said, placing her hands on either side of Derek's face. She gave him a soft, sensuous kiss on the lips. He felt a jolt of electricity go through him and soft flashes of things in his mind, things he couldn't begin to explain. But suddenly he understood, and he accepted her gift of love. "Derek," she said, placing her hand over his heart, "he'll always be right here, and he'll always love you unconditionally. Maybe not in the way you have in mind, but perhaps on some lonely night, in a dream, we might meet again. And you can always talk to me in here," she said, tapping his head. Derek looked at her and felt a love he couldn't explain, but he seemed to understand what she told him. He nodded his head. "Thank you, Dr. Sylvia," he said. She got off his lap and led him to the door, handing him a pile of blank white cards. "Don't forget to pay it forward. I want and thank you for everything." "It's my pleasure, Derek," she said. Derek made it back to his truck and realized he had spent most of the day with her. He got in and stopped for a burger and a beer before going home. For the first time in many months, he had a happy disposition and even stopped to look at some birds gathering in the trees. After spending some quality alone time communing with nature, he headed home. This would be it, he said to himself. He got home just in time for the first Twilight Zone episode of the evening, grabbed a soda instead of a beer, and sat down. Mandy was back to full attitude mode as she prepared for her girls' night out. "Well, I see you finally decided to come home. How'd it go with the doctor?" she asked. "Great," Derek said. "So, did the doctor figure out how to cure whatever it is that's making you so damn sick?" she asked. "As a matter of fact, yes, and I should be feeling much better by the end of the evening," he said. "So, what did you do for the rest of the day?" "You were gone an awful long time," she shot back. "I went and grabbed a beer and a burger, then just spent some time checking out nature. It's amazing what we take for granted, you know," he said. "Whatever," she said sarcastically before going back to the bedroom. Derek ignored her and engrossed himself in the week's marathon. Soon enough, she was gone, and Derek considered the ring on his finger. He checked the time, 7:59 p.m. He turned on the local news and was shocked at what he saw. Tonight on Eyewitness News, the anchor said, a mysterious explosion at ABC Manufacturing in which 6 men, including the plant manager, Ron Thompson, were killed. The others are believed to be supervisors, but the names have not been released pending notification of next of kin. It's not known what caused the explosion, but authorities believe it's connected to a piece of aging equipment that mysteriously activated. The plant, in operation since the 1950s, has a long history of safety problems, and OSHA has closed the facility until a full investigation is complete. Workers have told Eyewitness News they have seen an unidentified woman meeting with Thompson several times a week for months. Those workers have told us they believe the woman, possibly the spouse of another employee, may have been involved with Thompson and others inappropriately. It's not known if this woman is connected to tonight's explosion, but authorities have not ruled it out. In perhaps a related item, police say they received a video in which Thompson is seen allegedly discussing a plot to murder one of the plant employees using the very piece of equipment involved in tonight's incident. Authorities do not know the source of the mysterious video, but say they are investigating. Stay tuned to Eyewitness News for all the latest developments in this strange tale. Next up, a lovable pooch proves that dog is really man's best friend. "Wow," Derek thought. "Thank you, Dr. Sylvia. I'm just fine. Thank you," he heard in his mind. He turned back to his marathon. Screw Thompson and the other men, he thought. They got what they deserved. He knew he'd be answering a lot of questions in a few days, but tonight he would celebrate. He turned on his laptop and fired up the surveillance program. Sure enough, Mandy was flat on her back, naked, in the middle of yet another encounter. The men with her wore no protection, meaning they would probably all get a good dose of gonorrhea. "I need more," she moaned over and over. The thought scanner was just as telling. 9 came soon enough, and as Dr. Sylvia promised, one of his favorite episodes had just started. It was called The Serve Man, a classic story in which aliens landed on Earth to supposedly save the human race from all the evils of war, poverty, and want. Lloyd Bachner played one of the main characters, a man who worked to translate a book the aliens brought with them. Suddenly, it dawned on him the book in the episode turned out to be a cookbook. The aliens wanted the human race fit, fat, and happy, but only so they could be harvested for food. Derek grinned with delight. He looked at the ring, and as promised, the blue stone lit up right at 9:15. He waited for the perfect moment, glancing between the television and his laptop. It came just as the Bachner character learned what the book really was. The next scene showed him in his stateroom on the Canamitch ship, heading to his destiny. At the same time, Mandy was flat on her back. Derek smiled wickedly at her and pressed the blue stone on the ring. Suddenly, the Bachner character was gone, having dematerialized like in an old Star Trek episode. In his place was a naked Mandy, now on the floor where the other character stood. It worked, Derek thought to himself. It actually worked. "Thank you again, Dr. Sylvia. I love you," he shouted to the room. "You're welcome, Derek," he heard whispered in his ear. "I love you too. Now go live, love, and enjoy life." As he watched, Mandy realized she was no longer the center of an orgy and looked around in shock. She glanced at herself and realized she was now in black and white. She slowly stood up and took inventory of the small room. The door opened, and a 9-foot-old Canamitch entered, causing her to scream. The alien cocked his bulbous head and considered her. He squeezed her arm. He ran one long hand up her leg. He shook his head in disapproval, removed a syringe, and injected her with something. He nodded and quietly left the room. Mandy, still shocked by what had just happened to her, seemed to notice a monitor and went to it. Apparently, she was able to see Derek in what used to be their living room and looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Derek," she said weakly, "is that really you? What's going on? What happened?" Derek turned the laptop so she could see the screen and rewound the video to show her in her last encounter. She jumped back in shock. No, Derek, please. It's not what you think," she said. "Oh, but it is what I think. You were with other men and were begging for more, so I just gave you your wish," he said. "What do you mean?" she asked. Derek explained the premise of the episode she was now a part of, and her eyes grew in horror. "No, Derek, please don't do this to me. Take me back. It'll be the best wife ever," she begged, tears falling down her cheeks. "No can do. It's a one-shot deal, and it can't be reversed. By the way," he said, pulling up the video of her with Thompson, "your lover boy and the 5 others you were with yesterday are now dead. Guess they won't be murdering anyone next Thursday the way you wanted." "Sorry." "No, Derek, that was all just talk. Nothing was going to happen, really. Please believe me," she begged. "Not going to happen. I heard everything you two said and saw everything you did. I even saw your thoughts. I also know all about your procedure. I told you if you cheated on me, you were out. You didn't listen and got yourself infected with gonorrhea, so now you're out for good. Have a safe flight." "Bye," he said. "No." Mandy wailed as the scene changed to a man wearing a suit holding a cigarette in one hand. Tonight's tale was supposed to be the recollections of one Michael Chambers, but instead has become the final and belated regret of a woman who thought she was the best a man could get, a sexual dessert, if you will, for anyone with the right physical attributes. But as Mandy Jacobs now realizes, she has made the unfortunate transformation from a carnal dessert to a morsel in someone's soup. Tonight's simple reminder that no one escapes true justice, brought to you as a public service of the office of the Nemesis. He smiled, winked, and took a drag off his cigarette. The screen faded to black as Derek sat back in his chair, a satisfied smile on his face. He had been given a second chance at life, free from betrayal and deceit. Now, he could truly move on. Thanks for sticking around till the end of this wild ride. What did you think of Mandy's twisted fate? Do you believe justice was served? Or was it a step too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-bending stories. See you in the next one.